We're both kind of speechless. Mike Kadlick here from CLNS, joined by Brian Hines from Pat's Pulpit, filling in for Alex Barth from 98.5 The Sports Hub. We are going to break down what the hell just happened out in Vegas as the Patriots lose 30-24 to the Raiders on a walk-off Chandler Jones fumble return touchdown on a play that I tweeted it out. I feel like a lot of people have said it at this point, Brian, but it sums up their entire season as to what the hell just happened. So initial thoughts as to what that was, where this game goes. But yeah, what do you got?
I don't even know. I'm just I don't know what to say. I've never seen anything like that. It's like you just said it. It's like they didn't know the game was tied.
Right.
That's not a play you make in that situation. And I mean, I guess trying to draw there, even that was a weird thing. I mean, I guess
it's bizarre.
See what you're doing. Like, they're a bad tackling team. Ramondre's had a good game, but the laterals are unbelievable. And just, I don't know what to say. And we should have been having this conversation about the touchdown it was clearly not a touchdown that the Raiders scored, and now they don't get to complain about that because the way just blew that.
It's a good point. Yeah, again, the Pats up by 7 with less than 2 minutes to go. They give the Raiders the ball back. Yeah. Derek Carr goes down and diced them up a little bit. The Patriots played relatively well against this Raiders pass offense for most of the game. The pass rush got after Derek Carr. But again, they go down, they score that touchdown, which was not a touchdown. The refs let the play stand. Keelan Cole tied the game. So that was bizarre. But like we said, it just, reacting to that play once again, in those situations when a game is tied at the end of the game with a minute and change left, so many times we've seen this Patriots team just sit on it and play for overtime. And, as media and as fans, you always hear people complain, why aren't they trying to go get 3? They could go get 3 here. They have the choice, and the Patriots play conservative and they play soft. The one time they try and not play soft, it completely bites them in the ass. And again, it felt like in the moment, Jakobi Meyers had no idea, or Ramondre even had no idea that the game was tied. It was like they thought they had to win it right then and there. Jakobi has already spoken after the game. Let me pull up those, but
he basically very, very accountable. From the reporters that are there, it said he had some tears in his eyes. He obviously took all the blame. He wouldn't let Ramondre or any of the coaches speak of it. So, I mean, it clearly doesn't sound like something that was discussed like in the huddle or like something they said, let's lateral the ball. It just a mental lapse, and he tried to make a place. I think he said I was trying to be a hero or something. And
yeah. Disaster. And it sums up this team perfectly. And I'm still reading the quotes as they come into. Mac Jones is at the podium as we speak here. Of course he takes the blame. Mac says, I've got to tackle that guy. It's on me. It's my fault. I've got to tackle him, and we play for overtime. Calls Jakobi one of the best teammates he's ever had. Again, Jakobi, stand-up guy, leader of the team. I have a hard time. I mean, it was a bonehead play. I have a hard time harping on Jakobi because he's been so important to this team all season long, but can't happen. And I can't believe Mac Jones is trying to take the blame here on that. I mean,
should have tackled that guy. That's line.
Right. Mac Jones is the last line of defense, and Chandler Jones, all 6'5" and 2 chain, whatever he is, barreling after you. But yeah, tough loss. So again, lose 30-24. Patriots, they were 7-6. They fall to 7-7. They were holding on to a playoff spot prior coming into this game, and they now fall out of it. They controlled their own destiny, and they lose to the Raiders. Outside of, I guess, the last play of the game, which I know that's so fresh in our mind, and it's again, like you said, you want to break down the other parts of this game. So let's try and do that, I guess. I have some takeaways, but and I'll give you the floor first as our new. Yeah, another thing. What a perfect intro to Pat's postgame on CLNS for Brian Hines, who gets to break this one down with us. So, yeah. But any takeaways from that one outside of the disaster at the end?
I mean, like you kind of got on, the defense played well for most of the game. The pass rush, Uche, Barmore back was, his presence was felt. Even, I mean, what they held Devontae to like 20-something yards, right?
Yeah, Devontae played. Yeah, he wasn't great. Yeah, but they
So, I mean, then Duggar, the pick six, I mean, that was a unbelievable play and read on him. So, I mean, it was good defensively, offensively. And it was just kind of what we've been just slugging along here, just going through the
Right.
motions. I thought they'd throw the ball more, but they had a lot of success running the ball. I mean, Stevenson had like 130 yards, I believe. So
he ended up finishing with 172 on the ground.
Because he got like 30 that last play.
Yeah. Yeah, kudos to him, right?
Yeah, I mean, when they needed a score, they went to their big guns. They hit Jakobi finally on that play down the seam, and then Mondre had the big run. Then Jakobi with the 2-point conversion. I thought they had it watching live. There were a lot of RPOs, I thought.
Yeah.
So more of that's always good, but I mean, it's all overshadowed by that one play, which I still.
It is.
Wow.
I'm in shock. It's tough. Yeah. I mean, crazy. Talking about sort of the RPO game with the offense, and it's tough to give them credit for it in my eyes because they've waited so long to do it. We're at week 15, but they're sort of starting to, I feel like, throw some more wrinkles into the offense, right? Like we saw the Marcus Jones package come out a couple weeks ago. I actually referenced your tweet from last week on Pat's Beat with Alex last week, talking about just the orbit motions they're running, and then they ran an RPO off of it. So we saw a little bit more of that creativity this week. Running 21 personnel, you had two backs with Ramondre and Pierre Strong out there, using Strong in motion and kind of just using your speed either to their advantage or as sort of a decoy in there. And I mean, it seemed to work well in at points, but I mean, Mac completed only 13 of 31 attempts for just 112 yards in the air. I try and I do continue to defend Mac Jones because I don't think he's a bad quarterback, and I really think he's been screwed by, frankly, Bill Belichick and the stuff, everything that's around him. But at the same time, you do kind of have to stop, I guess, whining at some point and just try and play ball and get it together. And if outside of the mishaps today, he wasn't great today either. And they were down 7. Yeah, they were down 17-3. They come back and tie it and all that, but he's still, I think he needs to be better at times as well.
Yeah, he missed the first miss to, I think it was Jakobi, the first miss up the seam. That was bad.
Yeah.
The ones to Aguilar and Henry back-to-back late in the game, they were catchable. They should have been caught, but I think the one to Aguilar was a little underthrown. The one to Henry was behind them. Again, yeah, I didn't think he was great. And on your other point with, like, Pierce Strong, like, it's good to get these fast guys on the field, and we want to give them credit, but, like, I don't think we can. Like, they clearly had no intention of playing Pierce Strong on offense this season until Damian Harris goes down and Ramondre Stevenson goes down. And it works. Like, we've been yelling about this all year long, that you can't play Ramondre at a 90% clip and get these fast guys on the field. And I thought that, like, even I like mixing and matching the receivers. That was always a thing. Like, they don't have the alpha dog, but they have a good group with different skill sets. So mix and match these guys. I thought it was like all Nelson Aguilar today. Like, they didn't really use Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah.
They didn't really even use the Marcus Jones package until on the goal line, which that whole situation was a mess too. They had first and goal on like the 2-yard line, and they dropped shotgun immediately with Marcus. That just felt like they were overthinking things, and it just they have the Jonnu Smith false start. That Mac missed a ball to Jonnu too, and that was just overthinking at its finest, which has been another issue. Just undisciplined, negative plays. It's all the same stuff that just keeps popping back up, and a lot of it can be traced back.
It's stuff it can be traced back to coaching. It's stuff that's like so fixable, and it's stuff that, frankly, it's happened all season. It's stuff that you have to, get in the lab and just fix it and work on it all week. And for some reason, it's like they don't. I don't know what you said. It comes back to coaching, and just as far as discipline goes, I thought the Raiders shot themselves in the foot a lot today too.
They had a ton of penalties, and they definitely helped Patriots' cause. They were backing up all game, but yeah.
And even, I mean, one of the Raiders' penalties on Jakobi in the end zone. That's what gave them 1st and goal at the 2, and they completely botch it. They called 2 timeouts from there. It was at the end of the first quarter, I think, at the beginning of the second maybe, but they're blowing 2 timeouts. So much so that they blow those timeouts early, and then later in the half, it's like they had to take a false start, or not a false start. They had to take a delay a game because they didn't want to burn another timeout in that situation. Mac then misses, like you said, Mac missed Jono in the back of the end zone. They tried to run the sneak, and the false start on Jono. It's like it's mistakes that they can it feels like they can so easily clean up, and they just continue to not be able to.
Like you said at the start, it's just stuff we're so used to them doing correctly over the last 20 years, and they're just not doing it. And like communication, like how many communication issues, like on the blocked punt, they literally snapped the ball and the guys weren't ready to play. And you can kind of do the same thing on the sneak with Jonu was lining up and Mac just went. So it's not great.
No, it's not. And so do you give these guys a chance to even make the postseason, Brian? I mean, I don't know exactly what it looks like right now. I think LA did end up winning this afternoon, so they are now in the 7 seed with the Jets loss as well. So the Patriots they have a hard road ahead here. They finish up with what is Cincinnati, Miami, and Buffalo. So 3 games that they could easily lose and finish this thing off at 7-10. I answered my own question for you. I mean, they're not going to make the playoffs.
I hate to say like never, because it's the NFL and like it is so hard to win. Like, I mean, Kansas City was going down to the bone with Houston today. Like, stuff just happens, but it is tough seeing Cincinnati, Miami, Buffalo, and just saying how are they going to. I mean, you need to win all 3 if you'd like to really get in, and then if you want outside help, you got to win 2. And just the offense, it's just, unless the wind's howling and Tua in the cold, I mean, it's just like you need outside factors to help you, and that's just not a good thing to be relying on at this point.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you don't want to rely on that. You want to be able to control your own destiny, and they did that today, and they had that in their back pocket, and they just couldn't do it. Talking on the offense too, just as I look over my notes here and figure out what else to talk about besides Chandler Jones, they're using, again, it's on them, and it's something that they should have done beforehand, and it's like something they've had to do because of injuries to Parker and Jakobi being banged up. But they used Tyquan a little bit more today. And he's shown that he's a smart receiver, I think, and he's not just a guy with just a skill set, which I think is something that's happened here in the past. You just draft a guy strictly on skill set, like N'Keal Harry, for example, and he was a train wreck. Tyquan Thornton, there was one deep dig that he ran, and I thought not only he was able to separate with his speed, but he also read the coverage perfectly and didn't just, not so many guys, but a guy who isn't smart as a receiver really will just break that off and just run regardless of the coverage. But he throttled down, let Mac throw it to him. And it seems like they have a little bit of chemistry going on here. Obviously, they should be able to use it. They should use a guy like that more, incorporate him in, those RPO orbit motion type things. And it's good to have Pierre Strong do it, and it was good to have Marcus Jones do it. But I feel like Tyquan's got to be their guy for that, no?
Yeah, I mean, he's 4.28, like, speed is good. Like, speed, we like speed. Speed makes things better. It makes you more explosive. The whole thing this offseason was let's get more athletes and let's dumb this thing down so we can play faster. And I mean, whether that's worked or not is a whole other thing. But get the fast guys on the field. Good things tend to happen. And they need him. If they can keep getting Thornton more involved over these last few weeks, that would be big for them. And just see what they have more in him, because again, we want to give them credit, for using him, but they're
right. It was like they were backed into it. It's like they were backed into it. Do you have a player of the game for the Patriots? I have a player of the game, and it's Chandler freaking Jones. But a player of the game for the Patriots today. Did anyone stand out above the rest of you?
I guess I'd go with Kyle Duggar. I mean, just because that play he made was he was just at the podium. I was reading. He said he did see something in film that he picked up on. I mean, he must have, because the way he closed and read that was unfreaking believable, and then tipped it up, intercepted it. He got him back in the game. That's what this defense does. It just gives them life, really, and drags this offense, drags their corpse along with them. But I'd go with Duggar just for that play. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, I think so too. And something that me and Alex have talked about on here, and it's kind of been a theme for the defense, is when Kyle Duggar's not either in the game or directly covering the tight end, they struggle to cover them. But when he's on them, I think he held Hawkinson in the first matchup with Lions to like 1 catch for 4 yards or something absurd like that. And Darren Waller obviously has that long touchdown on the scene, but it wasn't him; it was Adrian Phillips on him, and Phillips sort of got dusted by him. But I mean, no, Duggar's been like an elite safety this year. He's just dominant. He seems to always be in the right place at the right time. I tweeted it sort of mimicking, what the Patriots weren't doing this week, and it was game planning on offense, and all they were doing is making sure they knew where Derek Carr was going with the ball. And Kyle Duggar, again, he read it perfectly. He was like, as soon as he saw what formation they were in and sort of basically where Derek Carr caught as soon as he caught the ball and he looked, Duggar was there immediately, takes it to the house. And that's what they've done all season. This defense is just keeping the offense afloat. And even more so than that, right? I mean, keeping them afloat would be just getting stops, but they've like actively scored touchdowns for this team. Duggar did it against the Lions. Raekwon did it. And it's so hard I feel like as a defender, it's so hard to continue to make these plays week in and week out. And like we said, keep them afloat, and they continue to do it. And I mean, it's good stuff, but it's so frustrating to see it happen and then see what the offense does. This is such a Debbie Downer show, but I mean,
how could you
after what just happened, it's hard to take anything good away from this game, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw a tweet that the defense is the leading scorer this year now. They have 6 touchdowns, I believe. Or maybe it was defense and special teams too. But I think it was Ramondre had 5, and now the defense has 6. So, yeah, they're doing the best. And it's got to be kind of like mentally draining when you're, you just – but it's like I think it was the 2019 team that they're like, we just have to be perfect all the time because the offense, like,
right,
you give up 20 points, it's not going to look good. And I think it might have been Phil Perry mentioned that after the Bills game that, the offensive issues are kind of starting to linger and piss some of the defensive guys off.
Right.
So that's definitely draining. But yeah, Duggar's been really good. You definitely notice when he's not on the field.
Right.
And I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch the Waller touchdown. I don't know if he was even out there, but that's not like a match that Adrian Phillips should be in. Like that's Darren Waller is built for Kyle Duggar, like, and vice versa. Like, so I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch what happened there, but yeah, that was a mismatch that they were able to capitalize on. Yeah.
So just going back to, we just got an email from Patriots PR, and we have the transcript with Mike Reese, who was the Patriots pool reporter, to speak with the officiating crew after the game, and sort of touching on the Keelan Cole touchdown that clearly wasn't a touchdown, but the referees didn't overturn anyway. I'll just read that, to kind of give a sense of what Reese wanted to get. And so he asked Walt Anderson, the NFL senior vice president of officiating, how did you determine that was a touchdown catch by Keelan Cole in the fourth quarter? Anderson said, the ruling on the field was a touchdown. He's answering questions like Bill Belichick. Reese followed up and said, in replay review, it appeared the receiver's left foot was on the white. Was that not visible in replay? Anderson said, we looked at every available angle, and it was not clear and obvious that the foot was on the white. It was very tight, very close. There was no shot that we could see. We even enhanced and blew up the views that we had. There was nothing that was clear and obvious that his foot was touching the white. Reese then said, did you have it down the sideline angle to aid your review? Anderson said, no, we did not. Probably the best view was what we term a high end zone view. TV gave us the most enhanced view that they had as well. We blew it up, and I believe TV blew it up, and there was nothing that was clear and obvious either way. Had the ruling on the field been incomplete, we would not have been able to change that either. So Anderson sort of sticking to their guns. They didn't say they made a mistake, saying that it was not clear and obvious. I still don't buy it, Brian. I think that there was
zero. Every angle we saw, the foot was on the boundary. It makes no sense. And I have this up what you just read, and unless there was an angle that we didn't see on TV, which he says the best view we got was the high end zone view that TV gave us. So I'm guessing that was the one, from up above that we were seeing. And
Right.
the foot's clearly on the boundary. It's like, what are we doing here? It really cost the Patriots the game. Again, I don't want to complain about it because after what happened after it. But yeah, it wasn't a touchdown. And we saw like yesterday in the Minnesota game, they ruled like 2 fumble, 6 recoveries blown dead earlier, and Minnesota was able to recover. But it's like, yeah, I don't get it. It was I don't get that. I don't get the last play still.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Again,
everything we saw was not a touchdown.
Right.